Good Tuesday morning, man. All church family and friends, everybody joining us online. Another day of devotions and another week here. I hope everybody's having a great start to the week and realizing just how blessed we are. I'm going to get my screen pulled up. I hope you got to be with us Sunday morning in the message that the Lord had given us of taking us to and through the fire. And in that message Sunday that the Lord shared with us, we brought out 4 points. Number one being the walk to the fire. The number two being the conversation. Number three being the response, and number four being in the midst of the fire itself. So I want to talk to you, and I hope you got to catch Pastor's devotion on Monday. And man, what a great scripture he used. And Lord always shows us something different, doesn't he, when people study things and kind of get a different verse. And I love the verse that he used of Matthew chapter 28, verse 20. And he's talking to the disciples before he ascended back to heaven. And he said, "Lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the world." And that was just a great verse. I needed that to kind of go along with the message Sunday. And so thankful that he shared that. Appreciate Pastor and all he does. I want to talk a little bit about the response. And, as sometimes when you share a message that the Lord has given you, the devil always seems to find a way to beat you up. And of course that happened again with me Sunday. And I feel like, man, I was so long, and I was like Pharaoh Sunday. I got a little long winded, but I get to thinking, and the devil throws things at me saying, "You left this out and you left this out." And, I've tried to learn it's in those moments that, he's just trying to defeat and trying to cause some confusion. So, but there was looking at the response, and this one's kind of stuck with me throughout the last couple of weeks of studying this lesson and in preparation for Sunday. And I thought a lot about my responses, and I hope this devotion will allow you to look at your situations in your conversations of when you're in the fire, when you're faced with the furnace and the hot trials of life and the flames of this life. And, we talked a little bit about the smoke and coming from the furnace, and we talked about the heat of the flames. And, that's something that we're all susceptible to in this life. And as we go along, and we all face those different types of fires and different types of trials. But the one thing that should be in common should be our response. And so that's what I want to talk to you a little bit about, just a minute or two here on our devotion for today. And so point number three, the response. And you can see that I have in parentheses, and you may have seen that Sunday, that I've got all eyes were on them. So, you've got a crowd of people. You've got all the chief guards and everybody that's standing there with Nebuchadnezzar, and they're all standing around this furnace, and they're, he's given these threats and this ultimatum, so to speak. And they had a choice to make, and they were facing a fiery time here in their life. And, this furnace is 7 times hotter than it ever been before. And so, he said, "Why are you not bowing down? And if you do, all will be good." But, this is their response to something tough they were facing. It says in verse 16 of Daniel chapter 3, it says, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said unto the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so that you throw us in the furnace, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace. And he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, if we still end up in the furnace and we lose our life this way, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up." So number one, we are not careful to understand thee in this matter, meaning we don't have to defend ourselves, and we're not going to be slow about this. We're going to do this without hesitation. So they had considered the cost of what they were facing in verse 16. They answered without hesitation. And I really believe it was knowing that God had done this before, and he was going to do it again. What he had done before, he was absolutely capable of doing that again. And if we look at our own lives, we can see time and time again of the prayers that God's answered for us and exactly what he can do. So why should we ever doubt what he has done before? So my devotion for you today is to consider that. Consider the fire that you may be facing and the trial that you may be going through and the pressures of this life. And, even talking to our young people, we know they face trials today and pressured situations that we probably didn't face many years ago. It's a fact we didn't. The types of things in their life today. But I hope, just as they would be, that we need to be not careful or hesitant to answer when we're facing a trial, when we're facing a fire, and say, God has brought me through so much before, and I am sure not going to doubt him now. So I hope if this finds you today and you're in the midst of a battle or a trial, that you'll remember that. Remember the prayers that God has already answered, what he's done in your life, and also what he's going to do. As Pastor said in his devotion Monday, lo, I'm with you all the way, even to the end of the world. He's not going anywhere. He's there in the midst of the walk. He's there in the midst of the conversation. He's there in the midst of the response, and he is sure there in the midst of the fire. Hope everybody's having a great week. I hope you enjoy your week. Be blessed. Remember to pray for me. And as always, I'm praying for you. God bless.